Hi, I'm Brooke, and welcome back to Female Scientist Friday. This week, I'll be talking about Ada Lovelace, the first computer programmer. I chose to do her this week because Ada Lovelace is honored with Ada Lovelace Day, an international day in celebration of women in STEM. Ada Lovelace Day has been held on the second Tuesday of October since it started in 2009, which makes this coming Tuesday, October 13, 2020, Ada Lovelace Day.
A quote from the program's website says the day aims to increase the profile of women in STEM, and in doing so create new role models who will encourage more girls into STEM careers and support women already working in STEM, and I thought that this fit perfectly with Female Scientist Friday. Ada Lovelace was born in 1815 in England to Lord Byron, the famous poet, and his wife Annabella.
She grew up without her father, and her mother encouraged Ada to study mathematics and logic to avoid her father's talent in poetics. This seemed to suit Ada very well, and she had the best tutors available. As a child, she was obsessed with machines. She would look at diagrams of new inventions and read any scientific journal she could get her hands on. At the age of 12, she designed a flying machine with a steam engine and used the anatomy of birds to develop her idea better.
She looked at multiple types of materials for wings and planned her machine carefully. She even wrote a book with her discoveries called Flyology.
Her findings were important because they were written down about 70 years before the Wright brothers took their famous flight at Kitty Hawk, and Ada was about 12 when she did it. Ada Lovelace was taught by Augustus de Morgan, a famous mathematician in England. He was impressed with Ada's knowledge and her intellect, but not her gender. He told Ada that if she had been born a man, she would be famous for her mathematical abilities, but he believed that women did not have the mental strength to do math as well as men could. If only he knew what Ada would accomplish in her life. Ada was also tutored by Mary Somerville, a famous Scottish mathematician and astronomer. Ada looked up to Somerville, and through her, Ada was introduced to many of the greatest thinkers in 19th century England, including Charles Babbage in 1833 when Ada was 17.
Babbage was a mathematician, inventor, and mechanical engineer who was working on a new invention, the difference machine, which could create mathematical tables to be used in equations.
Because Ada was obsessed with machines, she and Babbage became close friends despite their over 20-year age difference. Babbage encouraged Ada's love of mathematics, and when he started working on a new mathematical machine called the Analytical Engine, which was the first idea of a computer that had the ability to solve equations, he asked for Ada's help. She translated an Italian article about the machine and added her own notes to it. Her knowledge over the topic was extensive and complicated, and other scientists at the time did not understand it. The machine would be able to deal with complex equations and new series of numbers, and Ada predicted how it would run. She published her findings in 1843, and her translation and notes from the Analytical Engine are considered to be the first computer program ever written, and it also contains the first algorithm. Sadly, the Analytical Engine was never completed and Ada's work was never applied, but it has been confirmed as an early version of computer science since then. This means Ada, without intending it or knowing it, had laid down much of the basis for modern computers. At the time, people couldn't understand a machine that could do math, especially the complicated math that Ada had described. So her work, as the rest of our female scientists seem to be, was not appreciated in her lifetime. Ada died of cancer in 1852 at the age of 36. In 1953, a century after her death, her work was finally republished and received the praise it truly deserved. Her accomplishments are celebrated, and she is remembered for her work in multiple ways. Babbage had called her the Enchantress of Numbers, and Alan Turing, a computer scientist during World War II, was inspired by Ada's work. The Department of Defense in the United States uses the computer programming language called Ada, named after Ada Lovelace. Awards and programs encouraging women in STEM are named after her, and of course, Ada Lovelace Day. I hope you think about Ada this Tuesday, and as always, you can learn more about computers and programming at the Science Spectrum.